Hi, welcome to Nitty Gritty Kitchen. Today we're going to make some Filipino spring rolls. I think you're going to really like them. They're absolutely delicious. Ingredients are real simple. It's one medium cabbage, 1 pound of ground pork, 2 small or 1 large onion, 1 cup of carrots, some spring onions, 1 tablespoon of garlic, 1 tablespoon of chicken bouillon, 3/4 tablespoon black pepper. And of course you're going to need your spring roll pastries, 1 package of them. You can find these at the Asian grocery in the freezer section. For the sauce, you're going to want to get a half a cup of soy sauce, half a cup of vinegar, a half of a minced onion, Thai chilies minced, 1 clove of minced garlic, and a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Now, I like to use Thai chilies because they're kind of authentic. The flavor is just really good. But if you want to, of course, you can substitute whatever kind of chili that you'd like. These Thai chilies, though, have such a great flavor that goes so well with these spring rolls. But any kind of chili would work. You're just going to have something that you can seep in the sauce to really bring out the flavor. So you'll need a pot, put water in the pot. First thing you do is you're going to boil your meat. Yes, boil it. The reason you boil it is you want to get all the grease out, because the grease will make your spring rolls soggy. So you want to cook it in that hot water, break it up with your spatula, and then just get it boiling enough to where the grease starts floating to the top, and then it's done. After that, you pull it out, strain it. Don't rinse it off, of course, but you want to drain all that water and grease down, and you just want the meat, as few little grease as possible. You take your carrots and you cut them up and then you put them in the food processor, or you can use carrot sticks, whichever. I choose to use the food processor. It's easier for me. I just cut them up, put them in there for just a few seconds, and I've got some diced carrots. Now, you can use carrot sticks, which is a lot easier, but I didn't have them. Cut your cabbage up into manageable pieces and stick that in the food processor also, or if you want to, you can slice it really thin. Again, I like using the food processor. It just makes things just go a lot faster for me. Get a little consistency like this, kind of like coleslaw. I do the same thing with the onions. Now, the onions you can get as fine or as chunky as you want. So I run those through the food processor also, and after that I take the onions and I put it with the cabbage. I also take my chicken bouillon, add that to the mixture along with the black pepper. And me, I like to add some cayenne pepper. It's optional, of course. Take a spoon and mix all that up, put it off to the side, and now grab your green onions, chop them up real fine, put them in a bowl, and set those off to the side. Then I take my meat and I try to chop it up as fine as I can. Put that off to the side. You're going to be cooking it soon. Take a little bit of oil, put that in the pan that you just used, and take your garlic and your carrots, and you're going to want to saute that just a little bit until you get them softened up just a little bit. Just keep that heat on high and keep on stirring until they're just a little bit softened up. Go ahead and add the rest of your mixture to the pan and keep it on high. Keep stir frying it until they just start to sweat. Then you can go ahead and take it off. Then take the mixture off the heat and strain it. You're going to want to try to get rid of as much moisture as you can. Let's go ahead and get started on our sauce. Take your Thai chilies or whatever chilies you chose and cut them up. I like to mince them really well. I mince my garlic and I also mince my onion up. I forgot to record this part, but go ahead and take your vinegar and your soy sauce and heat them up in some sort of microwave container and heat them up to a point to where they're just starting to steam. Take them out of the microwave and then add your other items to it and just let it seep. And by the time you're done cooking your egg rolls, that'll be ready to go in a great sauce. So as you can see, we've got quite a bit of drainage from this mixture here. So this is good. So let's get ready to roll these things. Okay, let's get everything together for your rolling station. You're going to get a little container with some water in it and a brush. I like to have a cutting board, have your wraps, have your mixture, and now we're ready to start going. I'll do this a couple times for you so that you can see how it's done. You take a wrapper and you lay it flat. Take a mixture. I use 2 tablespoons of mixture per roll. It's entirely up to you. Place it in the center there and try to get it all situated together nice and tight. Take your 2 sides and fold them over like that, and then just take your bottom and roll it up, and then just roll it nice and tight if you can. Take a little bit of dab of water, put it on the end, and roll it flat. As you can see, it's a pretty nice little roll. Put those off to a side on a little plate. Now, as you roll these up and seal them with the water, you're going to want to lay them down on the flap to the bottom of the plate to kind of keep them closed and kind of help them seal just a little bit. We'll go ahead and do this again. Grab you a wrapper. Make sure your surface is clean and dry. You don't want to put that wrapper on a wet surface. Take a couple of teaspoons of mix, put them in the center there. Try to keep it all nice and tight, nice and together. And then you're going to want to take your sides and bring them up into the center. Take your bottom, flap it up, and then kind of tuck it in real tight and roll it up. And then take your brush, dab a little bit of water on it, not a lot, just a tiny little bit of water, just enough to get it nice and sticky, and then roll it over and seal it. As you can see, that's a good looking egg roll. A little tip is to take parchment paper and put it between your layers, because as you set these egg rolls, you don't want to put them on top of each other because they might start sticking to each other. So this will help absorb any extra moisture that's in the wrapper before you cook it. So I like to take layers of parchment paper and I put it between them. All right, let's start cooking. I like to use a cast iron pan because cast iron is awesome. It holds the heat, maintains the temperature very well. I like to cook mine in canola oil, but you can use vegetable oil if you choose. Go ahead and get you a container with some paper towels set up, and I like to use a thermometer because you really got to maintain that temperature to about 350 degrees. And make sure your temperature is right at 350 or around 350 before you put these things in, because if you don't, they're going to turn into just a soggy mess and soak up all that oil. You want them to not just start frying really well when you start putting them in there. And it's not going to take long at all to cook these things, because remember, the insides are already cooked. We just want to get a nice brown shell on the outside. So keep an eye on them. Fill up your pan. Make sure you monitor your temperature, because the pan temperature is going to drop a little bit after you put these cold egg rolls in. But just kind of keep an eye on it and adjust the temperature as you need to. Try to keep it around 350. And we're going to try to get a nice golden brown on each side of these egg rolls. And once you do that, then they're done. As you can see, after a few minutes, they get nice and golden brown. Just flip them over and continue cooking. Main thing is just you gotta watch that temperature on that oil. Make sure it doesn't dip too far and it doesn't get too high. So babysit that just a little bit, and these things will turn out great. So as these are getting ready, I like to take them and stand them up in my container so that the oil will drip down to the bottom and they'll be nice and crispy, so they're not going to have any sogginess to them. So that's just how I do it, do what you want. But this works out really good for me. Just keep repeating the process. Add more, and when you put these in the pan, make sure you put them down with the flap down. so that that gets a nice good seal to it. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but you want a nice seal on that flap. So put those down first, let that get a good cook to it. Every once in a while, when you're cooking these things, you'll have a blowout to where the pastry kind of give away and some of the stuff, some of the internals got into the oil. Try to keep that cleaned up if you can, because if you don't, it'll just create like a burn taste in the rest of them. So try to keep that out of the oil, and then just keep on going. Well, that's it. Get your sauce together and your garnish, and sprinkle a few green onions on top of there, and have a nice little dipping container for your sauce, and enjoy. These are going to be great. You're going to love them. Thanks a lot.